everyone, welcome back to the Prime 5, the 5 biggest Nintendo news stories in the last 24 hours, occasionally big stories from other companies as well. Look, I don't want to waste too much time because we actually have some brand new actual news on Tears of the Kingdom. This isn't, rumors and leaks. This is legit info. So let's get it. And our first story actually deals with Cuphead because Cuphead is getting a physical release. Studio MDHR, the makers of Cuphead, have teamed up with IM8-Bit to release a complete physical version of the game for all platforms. Obviously, that means all DLC. You can presently sign up for more information down the line, which essentially is the IM8-Bit newsletter. They are not taking pre-orders yet, and there isn't an exact release date. Hopefully, it's before the end of this year, if not early in 2023. Next up, we have an update on a story we covered way earlier this year about employees filing complaints against Nintendo with the National Labor Union about, Nintendo just not wanting them to unionize and really poor treatment of workers. And there's been a whole lot of stuff coming out about this. Doug Bowser has actually addressed this internally and a little bit publicly, but honestly, we have no idea where things stand today and where the investigation has gone. But one of the people that lodged the complaint, in fact, the first person has put their name out there and explained their situation. And the person who started the complaints with the NLRB is named Mackenzie Clifton, who was fired in February of this year. According to Clifton, Nintendo claimed to be firing her for the disclosure of confidential information when they provided evidence for what she exposed. It was a tweet from her that read, "In today's build, someone somewhere must have deleted every other texture in the game because everything is now red, just like pure red. It's very silly." However, she thinks this wasn't actually why she was fired, or at least wasn't the primary reason, as that tweet is, admittedly, extremely vague and can be hardly considered some sort of game leak. That being said, there was supposedly a meeting with Doug Bowser in January with the game testers who were free to ask him questions. And one such question Mackenzie asked was this: what does Nintendo of America think about the unionization trend in QA in the games industry as of late? Because this has been something that's been factually happening at many companies. According to Mackenzie, Doug Bowser didn't answer the question directly. After the meeting had ended, a little bit later in the workday, a supervisor from Ashton Carter, the company Nintendo uses to hire contract employees, told Mackenzie to direct such quote-unquote downer questions to Ashton Carter, not Nintendo themselves. Mackenzie, now that her name is public, was one of the QA testers that helped get Super Smash Bros. Ultimate out the door and expressed frustrations along with many QA testers that they weren't in the credits of the game for the hard work they did to make sure the game released in the unbroken state that it did. Keep in mind, it is common practice in the industry to not list QA testers in the credits. So this isn't a unique Nintendo problem, though some studios have started to list basically every person that touches the game, which is probably the right thing to do at the end. I don't know, games don't release in good states without QA testing, so it's a pretty important step before release. And now our next story, we get to the thing that I've been sitting on, all morning at least. Brand new information for Tears of the Kingdom because, guys, we finally have some translations of the text in the trailers, and these translations are quite interesting. So let's get into it. First off, for the text that's on that wall, that the wall art with that mysterious character and all that, there's that little section of text. It supposedly translates to "Daylight comes and goes, but the sun never shines. Like father, like son, like daughter." Now, this is actually a form of Buddhist poetry or literary device, usually in the form of some sort of riddle, and it's a riddle that's not meant to be solved. So I'm not really sure what we're supposed to get out of that whole daylight comes and goes stuff. But that's not all the text says. There's actually some more, and it says this: when the sun shines, the moon shines. When the moon shines, the stars shine. When the sun sets, the moon turns red. Daylight comes and goes, but the sun never shines. Now, naturally, the moon going red, reference to blood moons. I don't know what this means, but it's very, very interesting. But we're not done. There's actually text in the logo of that dragon circle. So where the two dragons are like following each other in the logo circle, the green, there is actually text within the dragons that says meeting of lovers. I don't know what that means. Zelda? Link? Is it something to do with the Zonai? Is it something to do with something that happened in the past? I have no idea. Meeting of lovers. This isn't a riddle. So that's quite interesting. Now, there are symbols on the door at the beginning of the trailer that when it opens up, when you have the two dragons that are facing each other at the very beginning of the actual gameplay in the new trailer. And it's very faint. So this is more of a rough translation than an exact one because it's just not high enough resolution to make out every character correctly. But it says something like building of counselors, which could be translated into, Temple of Sages or Chamber of Sages or something like this. It could also be a reference that this is a dungeon, that you're leaving a dungeon that is related to some sage people. I don't know. Could be a temple. Beats the hell out of me, but that is obviously really interesting information. I'm curious what your theories and speculation are around this. And if you guys want to know where I got all this information from, it came from the Hylians Gamecast ran by Game Over Jesse. They have a member of their community helping translate the text and any other future text that ends up coming out in future trailers. So yes, absolutely, this is something we do want to pay attention to, and I will keep you updated as new information becomes available. From one game I'm excited about to another coming out next month, we have a brand new story trailer for Sparks of Hope. In this trailer, it shows Cursa and a giant manta ray looking beast attacking Mario and the Rabid Gang. Then Rabid Mario warps in a spaceship out of just nowhere. No idea how he got it. And he's shooting these baddies with lasers. And they end up taking off in this ship to escape Cursa and find some strange planets. We get introduced to Cursa's Spark Hunters, who are chasing after Mario and the gang. It teases an even deeper secret that seems to involve Cursa. There's been some theories around Cursa, so don't want to dive into it in case it ends up being spoilers, but something about Cursa is not going to be revealed till later in the game. It does come out on October 20th, and I want to remind you that if you use our affiliate link for Best Buy down below to pre-order the game, it helps support the channel, as we'll get a 14% kickback to the channel itself for your purchase. So thanks for those that decide to get the game that way and for supporting the channel. Next up, our final story isn't Nintendo related, but it is industry related because Google Stadia has officially shut down. Let's read what they said in their official blog post. For many years, Google has invested across multiple aspects of the gaming industry. We help developers build and distribute gaming apps on Google Play and Google Play Games. Gaming creators are reaching audiences around the world on YouTube through videos, live streaming, and shorts. And our cloud streaming technology delivers immersive gameplay at massive scale. A few years ago, we also launched a consumer gaming service, Stadia. And while Stadia's approach to streaming games for consumers was built on a strong technology foundation, it hasn't gained the traction with users that we expected. So we've made the difficult decision to begin winding down our Stadia streaming service. We're grateful to the dedicated Stadia players that have been with us from the start. We will be refunding all Stadia hardware purchases made through the Google Store and all game and add-on content purchases made through the Stadia store. Players will continue to have access to their games library and play through January 18th, 2023, so they can complete final play sessions. We expect to have a majority of the refunds completed by mid-January 2023. We have more details for players on this process in our help center. The underlying technology platform that powers Stadia has been proven at scale and transcends gaming. We see clear opportunities to apply this technology across other parts of Google, like YouTube, Google Play, and our augmented reality efforts, as well as make it available to our industry partners, which aligns with where we see the future of gaming headed. We remain deeply committed to gaming, and we will continue to invest in new tools, technologies, and platforms that power the success of developers, industry partners, cloud customers, and creators. For the Stadia team, building and supporting Stadia from the ground up has been fueled by the same passion for games that our players have. Many of Stadia's team members will be carrying this work forward in other parts of the company. We're so grateful for the groundbreaking work of the team, and we look forward to continuing to have an impact across gaming and other industries using the foundational Stadia streaming technology. So I think the big takeaway from here isn't that Stadia is closing. I think the writing's been on the wall for a while, but full refunds. They're refunding all your game purchases, all your DLC, any microtransaction purchases. They're refunding you if you literally bought the hardware. You get to keep the hardware. I don't know what's going to do for you. I guess if you bought like the 4K Chromecast or whatever as part of a Stadia bundle, hey, that's kind of cool because that does some other things. But hey, you know what? Good on Google. Like, they didn't have to refund anybody. Everyone knew investing in Stadia was a risk. But hey, if you spent hundreds of dollars on Stadia buying games, you're getting all your money back. So I guess it sucks for you that really enjoy Stadia and won't get to use its services anymore after January. But also, good on Google for doing the right thing in this case when they decided to shut down the service, because they absolutely didn't have to. Anyways, folks, I'm Nathaniel Robinance from Nintendo Prime. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Prime 5. We'll be back at it again tomorrow with 5 brand new stories. We'll also be live streaming tonight, going much deeper into these Zelda stuff. I'm really excited about the Zelda translation stuff. My mind is flying right now. So we'll be talking about that stuff tonight on a live stream around 8 p.m. Central over on the Nintendo Prime podcast channel. I'll put a link to that channel down below as well, so you guys can go ahead and subscribe and follow and all of that. Catch you guys later.